We're on the brink of greatness.
We're here.
We're here. We're live. We're coming at you. Thank you.
Coming
The
at you.
dishes are done. I'm John. He's Agnew. It's Thursday. Happy New Year. This is the New Year's Day. Well, no, the New Year, the 2025 Spectacular.
The very first ever.
I saw Nosferatu. That's right. Yes. I saw Nosferatu.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And yet again, it's a weekend where that was like the fourth movie I wanted to see on my list.
Yeah.
But everything was sold out.
Sold
It
out?
was Friday at like...
Really?
Yes. Yes, dude. This Timothée Chalamet, the Bob Dylan movie.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid must have an incredible following. I know he's like the new Leonardo DiCaprio, so probably every little girl from 13 to 16 in America is going to see it. And the great thing is they're all going to learn about Bob Dylan. But yeah, sold out, and Wicked still sold out every weekend.
Wow.
And then I think there was one more that I wanted to see, but Nosferatu, it was getting good reviews. And I know it's one of the oldest movies ever, but I don't know anything. I'm like, is it Dracula or is it like Dracula's sidekick? Like, what even is it?
Is it a remake? Is it a remake of the
Yes.
original one? Okay, all right.
The original from like 1912.
And the only thing I know from the
long
original
time
one
ago.
is like the one picture of the guy, like of the vampire
Yeah,
or
where he's like-
whatever. He's just like, yeah, yeah.
It's all, And dude, it's so funny because we were talking about Die Hard, and we were talking about we were talking about movies where once you start them, they're hard to finish because it's like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this scene. Oh yeah, then this scene. That's what this movie felt like when I was watching it.
Really?
I was like, I kept going like, all right, I'm gonna go pee now, and I'm like, oh, but wait, what's gonna happen here? Like, it must be still talked about because just it's an intriguing story, and the Johnny Depp's daughter is incredible, and the guy who's playing Lex Luthor, who he always plays the opposite of Lex Luthor in every movie, so save that for another time, but he was fine. And then Willem Dafoe shows up as like the kooky sort of scientist, sort of religious guy, but kind of like knows everything about everything.
Yeah.
And is also kind of guessing as they're going. He's awesome. The kid who plays Nosferatu is the guy who plays It or Pennywise.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He did a fantastic job at that. I mean,
But,
no notes. Nightmare fuel. Well done.
But, dude, I felt like I was in the wrong movie for a little bit. I was like, wait a minute. That's not Nosferatu. That's like one of the Penguin's henchmen from Batman Returns who has like the mustache and like the monkey. And like he kind of puts the tracker on the Batmobile. You know that guy?
Yeah.
That's what he looks like.
The guy from
That's what he looks
from
like.
Ghost who like teaches him to like kick the can.
He has like the black mustache and like the dark eyebrows. Yeah. That's what he looks like. And his voice, dude, like it is the most classic Count Dracula, but like not cheesy. Like fucking,
like just right on that line.
Human,
just right on that line.
Yes,
Like you're like,
yes. And it's a really interesting twist at the end. Very creative, very metaphorical. Where you're like, what is really happening here? But yeah, blew me away because I knew nothing, and it was almost just like, well, this is what's available, so I'm gonna go see it. And it was getting good reviews early, so I'm like, all right, at least it's not like...
How was that theater?
Remake.
Like how full was the theater there?
Dude, I had the only empty seat was right next to me.
Really?
Thank the Lord. I don't like to touch elbows. But yeah, I mean, it had that thing where you're like, every switch to the next scene, it's like, oh, I know what they're setting up. Geez, what now? What? And you
Mm.
have to keep watching. It's one of those. It's
All right.
like
So
it
it's
hit all
it's
the
a it's a
fundamentals.
it's a must watch from your on your list. Must watch. At least. Let me ask you this. Is it rewatchable?
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was like, ooh, I need to go. Now that I know this, I need to go and see. Like, well, for a
Okay, well
film nerd like me,
categorize it. You know, like Drumline's rewatchable, but it's not art, right? Like if it's on, it's like a rainy day rewatchable, right? And then Die Hard, things like that are anytime it's on rewatchable. And then some movies are like once a year I can rewatch it and enjoy it again, but I'm not watching it any other time of year. So like where would it fit into
okay.
your rewatchability?
See, because it's long, I mean, it's longer. It's like 222, I
Mm.
think, actually. Um, and it's so damn dark and pretty gross. And like, it's not a movie that you're going to rush to go back and see. But after seeing it, I'm just like, I get why this thing is being remade 100 years later
Yeah.
and it's getting good reviews. Like the story's just pretty cool and the filmmaker just knocked it out of the park.
Okay.
It's one of
Yeah.
those things where just all the pieces fit together really well. I didn't, and again, man, like I said, I wanted to go to the bathroom, and there was like 3 or 4 times where I was like, I can't go yet. What's this? So that was pretty cool for not knowing anything to be
Yeah.
like that into it.
Yeah, to hold
Because
off going to the
I'll go to the
bathroom.
bathroom. I'll go to the bathroom right as Thor lands in Wakanda. I don't care.
Right. You're like, all right, something might happen, but I
I'm
gotta.
like, yeah,
There's nothing.
I can't. It's small. Sorry.
I'm gonna see this 18 more times, so I'm just gonna go fill it in later, and then I'll be like, "Ooh, I wonder what happened in that little scene."
Yeah. Um, and you said, I mean, you talked about Moana 2
Well, we took the
last
kids.
time,
Oh, did I? All right, maybe I went
but
into
you
it.
said it was just like TV show, strung together episodes
Well,
or
I mean,
fetch quests.
that's what they were doing, right? So that's what uh, they were.
That's why the budget was like 150. It was
Yeah.
like the
They,
cheapest Pixar movie
well, they made
because it
the
was a
TV
TV
show,
show.
right? They made a TV
Yeah.
show, and then they were like, "No, just make it a movie, and we're going to release the theater." So they probably had to take so many different like plot lines and stuff, and just like cram them all in. It. I guess I did talk about it last week because I remember my comment saying that, in December and back in 2024, um, we
Last year.
last year, that it was a lot like the Aladdin TV show and things like that, where there was all these characters, but my main problem with it, and I'm still boasting it about it with the kids, is just it it it, like a lot of these sequels are now undoing everything, right? Like they just keep undoing the
Dude,
exact
it's like
plot line of the first
dude,
movie or the series even.
and not to interrupt and not to always
No,
bring it
no,
back
no,
to
no.
wrestling, but The Rock did that on Netflix's inaugural Monday Night Raw. Raw is live on Netflix every Monday now
Is
for
it? Oh,
3
okay.
damn hours. And The Rock shows up, dude, and completely killed the storyline that like he left on. Like he came back and was like a good guy and was like, let's congratulate Cody Rhodes for carrying the company for the last year. He's been a great champion. But the last time we saw him, he was like, Cody, I've had every belt in this company except that one. And I'm coming back for it.
Like he's coming for it,
And he
and then
came
they're
back
best
and he
friends.
didn't. Yes. I was like, oh my God. It's like Vince is back writing this shit.
Yeah.
But and that's what they were doing in Moana 2.
Well, in Moana
Like
2, it was
all
like
of a
they were.
sudden Moana 1 didn't happen.
Well, they started off Moana 2, and she's like, "I need to figure out who I am," and I'm like, "Wait, hold on. Wasn't like the main thing that you said in the first one was that like I am Moana, like I have figured out who I am, and all of a sudden, you know, like everything starts making sense to her, and she." gets everybody together on a boat at the end. So you're like, wow, she's really figured it out, right? And
I
instead of
am
just
Moana.
taking that,
I am Moana.
she starts off the second movie and she's like, I don't know who I am. And it's like, what? Like, we just spent that whole time with you figuring out who you were. And now you're like, I need to go figure out who I am out
I mean,
there.
God, that's
It's like, oh my
dude. That is such like a. I don't want to say lazy, but it feels like lazy because it's like
God.
you could just do that for every like couple years. You go through changes and you're like, well, who am I now?
Well, I think the whole thing was just what happened was I think they wanted to make it episodic, obviously, because it was supposed to be a TV show. So then they added these other characters in as like comic relief. So there's like an old guy, like an inventor girl who's like exactly the same character as Ironheart, and then
Oh gosh.
like a big like dumb sort of love interest for Moana, and then a wild card. And so they basically made the A team, right? So they have the A team, uh, and they're supposed to go on an adventure, and there's some like no name villain that they're going to have to take out, and then Maui just like comes in the mix. But so it kind of makes sense for a structure wise for the TV show, because then it's like, okay, like every episode some
Right.
small thing
Yeah.
happens, it maybe moves a little bit of the story to like where they need to go, and they
Yeah.
build
You
and
add
they
a
and
character each episode.
exactly, like an Avatar type style, right? Like where
Yeah. Yeah.
you get to a new town and all of a sudden you get a new character that you're following
You're
along
like,
with.
oh, this person's important.
So I think that part's fine. I mean, the A team structure works. Inventor,
Yeah. Yeah.
wild card, ace, and a
Right.
grumpy
Right.
old man to drag you down, but somehow give you wisdom, right? So to me, it makes sense,
What are
but
they
it just
called?
what's that?
A collection
Like
of misfits,
uh,
like the odd couple or like
right,
whatever, like the group, like Lost, a
yeah.
group of opposites
So they all come together, and
usually works.
but I think just cramming it into the movie, they just made all the same jokes. Like, as soon as Maui sees like the chicken, he's like, boat snack, ha, remember, like, boat snack. He makes like a fourth wall break several times, which felt more Deadpoolish than Maui. Like, I know he did that before too with like tweeting, which didn't age well already. Um, because it's already gone. But
Right,
as
yeah, but people still say that.
I know people still say it, but it
No one says I X'd.
yeah, they do need a verb. Like, that's like when you Google something, you Google it, you tweet it, right? There's no X verb, right? Like,
Like, just turn it to tweeter. Like, like just turn it to something close but not the same. Like, we're
yeah,
so used to Twitter. It's
yeah.
tough. It's too easy.
It's tough. It's tough. But yeah, but because it came yeah, I think the reason that it became a verb is what made it tough after that. Because if you can't say you're doing them, like, you can say you're TikToking, right? But
Yeah, I made a TikTok.
yeah, you made a TikTok, right? Like, so it kind of works. Um,
I'm on TikTok.
but you don't really vine something that never really took off as saying, I'm going to vine this anyway. But anyway,
No, I
with
think that's what they said. Like, I'm gonna Vine this.
is that what they
The
used to
the
say?
one guy that got famous
I
on
missed Vine. Yeah, I missed Vine, but I did enjoy it.
Vine was TikTok. It's
It
so
was like
annoying.
really short TikTok though, right? It was like
Right.
15
Yeah, but
seconds
that's
or
what
something,
TikTok
right?
was in the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like a short thing.
that's true.
Now it's just everything's all just YouTube.
They were all like something. Yeah, then they all just became YouTube, and then YouTube became them, and then it's a
Ah,
circular
dude.
logic.
YouTube became like NBC.
Yeah,
It's really weird. YouTube
YouTube.
was the place, and now it's like, uh-oh, we're too big, so now money, and you can't say that.
Right. You can't say that. And ads. Like, there's more ads on YouTube than there
Dude,
are like in a commercial break on the NFL.
I remember this speech this Dan Lebitard made, this sports broadcast guy down here in Miami, but he was on ESPN.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know how much he's like the most valuable advertising space on television is the backstop behind home plate because it's just there like constantly.
Makes
You know what I
sense.
mean? Like you see that all game long.
Right, right.
And he's like, and they're like, who's going to turn down the money for putting it on a jersey? Remember when the NBA all of a sudden started getting like, you know, what did we have, like Bitcoin or something stupid?
Right,
The
yeah, yeah.
Sixers.
Yeah,
Remember, it was
crypto.com,
like
yeah.
on the jersey. It
It's
was
on
like
there. It was on there last
NASCAR.
night. Yeah, it's on there right now. Yeah.
Who's going to turn down the money?
Yeah.
And that's what happened to YouTube.
Well, I think it's what happened to like the you look at soccer, right? We all laughed at soccer, like, oh, look at those guys with all their like bimbo and like all the
Yeah.
advertisements all over their thing. It's like, how do you even know what team they are? And then this is how it starts though. Like you just get like a small thing on the sleeve. You're like, oh well, it's just a thing on the sleeve. It's not like, we're not going to get to the point of face tattooing anybody, but maybe we will.
Dude, remember stadiums? Stadiums were like the family, like
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, it's still
Comiskey.
Heinz
Yeah. Right.
Field,
Yeah. Right.
but Heinz is a ketchup.
Connie
And it's
Mack.
like, then all of a sudden they were banks,
Yeah.
Wells
Whoever
Fargo,
whoever pays the
Citizen,
most.
City Field. Right. It's like, are they soon going to be like the Philadelphia
And we just
Wall
got
Street
used to it,
Journal or,
right?
Wells Fargo's?
I mean, remember it was the core states, and then and then before it was Wells
The
Fargo, it was
FU.
something else too. Yeah, First Union, right? Lincoln Financial Field, Citibank, Citizens Bank. It's like
Right.
it's so dumb. I mean, you get used to it
It's
after a
so
while.
cold. It
This-
reminds me of the buildings.
well, with like the
They're
the
just
subway
so boring.
stations are being sold, and for names as well, and it's just really confusing because wouldn't it still be much better to know what, like, if you're from out of town and you're trying to get to Pattison, you're like, how do I get to Pattison Avenue? They're like, oh, you get off at NRG station. It's like, well, how the hell would I know that? Like
Oh,
everything
really?
else
Like
is,
they're renaming?
yeah, they pay, it was like AT&T Stadium, like down by the stadiums, it was AT&T station. And then I guess their payment ran out. Now it's NRG station.
So
And
they have to like update the map every time on
yeah.
every damn car. Oh,
And then Drexel bought 30th Street, which makes no
that
sense because
alone.
there's like a Drexel stop before 30th Street. So it's like, hi, this is Drexel Station, and then this is Drexel Station. It's like, well, how the hell do you know which? It must be so painful.
I hate
It's
when they
so
do that.
painful.
It's like that movie we were talking about, Marriage Story and the Marriage Story. It's like,
Yeah.
you could be more creative
Right.
and be aware of your peers and their works. So how was Christmas?
It was good. It was good.
Hmm?
It was Oh wait, well, hold on. Can I give the Moana 2 spoiler, or are you gonna watch
Oh
it?
yeah. Go ahead, spoil away.
Sorry, because the ending of it was insane, and the whole time I was watching it, I was just like, no, don't do it. Don't. I know what you're gonna do, but just don't do it. Just don't. Just resist
You
doing
saw
it
it coming.
because it was. I mean, first of all, it was like a sky beam, which was really boring.
It was
It
a Disney. God damn it!
it played out like like a arcade level, like the ending of the movie. And for some reason, like Maui can just do whatever he needs to do. He's just jumping all over the place, breaking physics
Right,
left and right.
demigod.
It just didn't make any
No
like
rules.
things that would have really, really helped out in the first movie. Like if he could have just done some of these things in the first movie, like it would have been over in about 5 seconds. But now he's able to. He got to like a higher level. And anyway, he
Oh, right.
gets
He's Return of the Jedi, Maui.
they take some silly line in the beginning of the movie, and I knew that they were going to do it. As soon as I heard the line, I was like, they're going to Iron Man this thing. Like where there's this one
Oh,
thing
no.
in the very first act where somebody says a sentence, and that sentence ends up being the thing that solves everything in the third act. And I was like, they're going to do it, aren't they? Because they said
You
that
always catch those.
it always drives me nuts, especially when it's like so blatant. Like they kind of like when they put a pause after it, they're like, oh, and by the way, here's the rules of the movie. If a human,
And this will be the last line.
yeah, they're like, if a human ever sets foot on this sunken island, then
Oh,
then
right.
then the island will return and everything will be great.
Oh, right, right. No one's ever
And
done this in the history of man.
so in the third act, she ends up swimming down and touching it, and so then it's like, oh, she broke it, like she did it, and there was like a Maui. There was sort of like the Superman getting struck by lightning episode that has happened in almost every iteration of Superman, where he gets struck by lightning and his powers get passed to somebody else. And so
Uh-huh.
Maui's getting like hit with like a bolt, and then the bolt is going down to hit Moana, and everything's in like Michael Bay slow motion, like where you can actually see like the arc of the lightning coming towards her, and she's like reaching out, and here's like the top of the mountain like under the
And Wonder
water.
Woman swinging across it
Wonder Woman swinging on all the
on her
clouds
lasso.
somehow, like that's a new thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Right,
and
right.
she touches it, and then gets zapped, and then comes out of the water with superpowers. So now she's like a demigod. She got upgraded. Now she's like a superhero. So it's like Moana the superhero. She has her own like body tattoos now. She's like basically like Maui, but
Oh,
and
all
then
right. Well, I guess that's where they had to go.
I guess so.
It's so like, well, yeah, of course.
Well,
What
I say to
else?
the kids, I'm like,
What
they're
else
just
are you
making the
looking at?
Avengers. I'm like, they're just making the
It's a new
Avengers.
toy.
Yeah. I'm
It's
like, they're
just a
just
new toy.
somebody in
Dude,
some
I'm sorry.
boardroom. Sorry, what?
I have to get something real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Downstairs. Hold on.
Yeah.
That's my charger. Laptop's about to die.
I'll put on break time. Break time. Da-na-na. Ba-ba. They still didn't take my comment that you need to make the full screen, have everything in it. I'm gonna blow my nose. Sorry. Got winter hat hair. Do 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 do.
Dude. What is that?
Doug.
That's what I thought. God, I loved that Saturday night when that string of cartoons would come on.
It was always so
When I
nice.
was like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Simple times.
So I wanted to just say this real quick. Because I was saying it to the kids and it started making sense, and then the kids actually chimed in on the walk into school today. I was like, you know what they're doing, because they were like, when are we going to get to see Moana 2 again? I was like, we're never watching that movie again. And they're like, why, Dad? It was the best movie ever. And I was like, every movie to you is the best movie ever. You need to learn when a movie's terrible. That's what you need to learn. So I'm ruining my kids' childhood. Meanwhile, like I loved Mortal Kombat when I was a kid, right? So, anyway, so I was like, you know what they're
They are
doing?
not subjective.
I'm like, you need to really analyze these things. Like you
He's like, a
battle
painting is subjective,
Yeah.
not a film.
I was like, they're making the Avengers. You realize that, right? Like they're just making the Avengers. Like all these people in there are like Avenger characters. So they had success with the Avengers with all the boys. All the boys bought, like if you ever walked in like a Disney store, right? It's like the left side is all like Avengers, the right side's all princesses. And it's like all the boys buy all like the
Yeah.
Avengers stuff, and then all the girls buy all the princesses, and now they're trying to make the princesses like superheroes. So and Leo's like, yeah, they're probably gonna make what's her name? Merida. I was like, Hawkeye. He's like, yeah, Hawkeye, exactly. I was like, yeah, like you've got Elsa who's going to be powered up. I'm sure Anna in Frozen 3 is going to get some sort of superpower. You're going to have like an elite force. It'll be like Iceman and Hawkeye
Yeah,
and
dude. And
now
Moana
you've
can
got
move.
this. She's
Dude,
going to
there
be like
was
Aquaman. Yeah,
I feel like the tease for that was in Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Mhm.
You know, like they literally like Moana moves the water, Ariel swims up it, and then like Elsa freezes it. So then like I don't know, they can win. Something happens, but they all
Honestly,
like combine their powers to like do something.
that would have been a
I
better
was like,
movie than the rest
oh,
of like that. Besides, like seeing like Star Wars, like sitting there with like Goofy and everything else, that scene
gay 3PO.
is the K3PO. That scene is like the best. Like where they actually work together like that. I'm like, okay, like that seems interesting to me. Like, why don't you just do that?
I
Don't
know.
even
I
explain it.
know.
Just shove them together and just have a fun time for like an
Right.
hour.
I know. Yes. I know. I swear that's a $1 trillion idea they're sitting on.
Yeah.
Like the biggest franchise of all time. Put them all together like in their own series.
But just stick it in. Just like
Make 10 movies.
don't even think about it. Don't think about trying to set up why they're all together. Just have them all
No.
wake up somewhere
Everyone
and
will
be like,
just assume.
how did we get here? Who are you? And it's like, all like the fan theories that connect them, hint at them through the whole thing. It would be amazing fan service and
Like I got a
everybody would enjoy
letter
it. Yeah.
to meet here.
Just put them on the Lost Island because they own that,
Mickey's
right?
birthday.
Put
Yeah.
all the Disney
Yeah.
princesses on the Lost Island and replay it all, but with their superpowers.
Just redo the flight, the plane breaking up in the air, but it's them in their like dresses, like fuck, like Rapunzel's hair is like flying all the way out the back.
That'd be great.
and
I would
then
watch
and
that.
then Pocahontas, she kind of like controls the wind, so she
Mm.
like helps the plane land, so
Yeah.
no one dies.
Yeah, but she becomes a tailie. She doesn't
Yeah,
show
yeah, yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
until much later. Yeah. And she has a much
She
rougher
makes
time.
sure
I would want to see
the tail.
Pocahontas show up and be like really tough, like they all had an okay time on the other side, but she's like, you don't know what I've been through, and like
Right,
really just lays into them.
right.
That'd be fun.
Way better than Anna Lucia.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be good. Who would be the traitor? Who would be Michael? Because you'd have to have one. I wonder. Like it would have to be one of the ones that would want to like leave or
Dude,
have.
I think
Yeah.
Anna gets kidnapped and Elsa
Yeah.
is the
Oh,
traitor.
there you go. There you go. Right. Right. Because she'll sacrifice everybody
like,
else to get Anna back. Yeah. Right. Oh my God.
Yeah, and Anna has no like abilities,
Mm.
no enhancements, so they
And then
could
on
get
the
her.
other, and then hold on to your seat. The other side of the island has all the Disney villains on it, and they also just were kidnapped and arrived on a submarine, and they're all there too. And Ursula
Like they're all
snapped them
getting
out of
out
it.
like
Yeah,
handcuffed.
Ursula broke it in half, and they all popped out. And they're all there. Oh, that'd be awesome. And then it turns out they're not on the island. They're in Never Never Land. And then they're
Dude,
going. Oh my gosh.
they're in Neverland, and then Pan helps them get through this portal from the island of Neverland to Moana's home, and all the princesses like crash there, and they're safe there, and to be continued.
Yeah. Well, the finale would be them getting to the portal, and then right as they're walking up to the portal, a red lightsaber lights up, and you hear,
Open fire!
and then it just goes to black. Yeah.
Dude, when that scene happened in Rogue One in the movie theater, at any after a second, I was like, okay, they're gonna cut away. Okay, they're gonna cut away. Oh my god, they're
Yeah.
still going. All right, they're gonna cut away. They're gonna cut away. And I was like,
Yeah.
I can't believe this is happening. They're gonna cut away, and they just kept not cutting away, and he just kept destroying everyone. It was almost like I didn't let myself enjoy it because I just thought they were gonna cut away. They're not gonna do that.
I think my favorite thing of that scene was that it wasn't like over the top lightsaber or anything like that. It was just like he was mad.
Right,
Like
it was
he
just
he was slicing through everybody, but he wasn't slicing through them like super duper fast. He was kind of just doing his twirls and chopping. Like it was
right,
like
it was like, ha.
he was kind of toying with them,
Took
but
all their
also
guns,
super angry. Yeah.
put the guy up to the ceiling, and then sliced him in half. Yeah, he was like having a good time.
Oh man, that was a great scene. What did you think of did you watch all the what ifs?
Dude, I tried. I was like,
So
what
so
in the
I can
world
rip them I can rip them
doing?
apart.
Dude, I was like, the only one I liked was the Howard the Duck, like only because it was so dumb and like pointless. But like when the story got like serious and it was like, are they all just the same? Like, is everybody Thor or Storm?
Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't care, man. I had no care.
There were too many moments in all of them
I don't
where
like Ironheart.
so I don't like Ironheart. I mean, well, I mean,
Just shove her down my throat. She reminds me of The Rock when he first came to wrestling, and they were like, "You love him. You
yeah.
love him because he's like all the other wrestlers that came before that were awesome." It's like it doesn't work that way,
It's like
you dick.
let me choose what I want
Yeah,
to
like,
love here, please. Uh,
God, don't give me a repeat, watered down, redundant version of Iron Man.
but they didn't
God,
even do that. There's no flaws. Like she doesn't have any
right? That's what I
flaws,
mean.
right? She's just
But
like
she's
she's
just not
perfect to begin
cool.
with.
She's just not right. But I just mean she's not Tony. She's
Yeah.
like this other. What is it called? There's a term for it, but it's like, Robin, the other Robin. It's like, don't make another one.
Oh,
Even though
like a
they can make it
sidekick.
interesting,
Yeah.
they sometimes can make them interesting. Jason
Yeah.
Todd, but
Well, Jason Todd was more interesting later on when people actually appreciated it, right? But all the fans asked for him to be killed, which is kind of sad to vote on murdering a fictional
well, they
character.
asked, yeah, they were like,
Well, they had
"Who
a
do you want us
vote.
to kill?" It's like,
They had
well,
a
you can't
vote.
kill Dick Grayson, but why do you have to kill any of them? I
Yeah.
like the story of like, well, I'm the new Robin, and I'm like kind of psychotic.
Yeah. He's like
And it
angry.
was a cool idea, yeah,
It was more like Batman had to temper him
yeah. It
than
was like
anything
Jesus.
else. And I like that they brought like when they brought him back. I thought that was kind of an interesting storyline too. But then when he finally just became like another Robin who's a bit angrier, like he became like Raphael or something like from
Right.
the Turtles. It was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he had to go. He had to go full dark.
I kind of wanted him to just stay like a villain. I feel like it could have been more interesting for him to be like a villain that like you never want to
Oh
kill
yeah.
or emotionally damages you every time you see him, you know. I feel like
Yes.
that would be kind of cool.
He's always a villain, but like, yeah, they don't. You can't kill him in my mind. But it always, and more, I'm like, I think the most underrated superhero, unmined superhero is Robin. Like he trained under the greatest. Like he has to be kind of amazing.
Oh yeah.
He was Batman's sidekick. He knows more about Batman than anyone.
Well, they did him justice in Young Justice, at least in the first couple seasons before they went off the rails there too. But in like the first couple seasons of that, he was like the main leader. You know, like Tim Drake was there, um, squeaks.
It
But
looks like I have a visitor.
oh,
What's up, bud?
hey, Mm.
Mom will go there with you. I can't. I'm in the middle of this. I will. I told you I would after. I think I hear Mom.
It's 10:15 now.
Of course, she doesn't shut the door the whole way. Oh, my knee.
I was.
So what were we talking about?
Well, I was just gonna say like I always like when I hear Kelly's like tough voice to the kids, like where she's starting to get upset and it's not aimed at me. I'm like, I really like that. Like I like there like, and I know I shouldn't. Like in the back of my head, I'm like, I shouldn't really like that, you know. But like, cause she's stressed and they're doing something wrong or something like that. But in the back of my head, I'm like, it's not coming at me. Like I didn't do anything in this moment. Like I'm I'm free and clear.
But see, when you were a constant rule breaker, as a child like me, even though I just watched Hannah like was the one in trouble, I'm like, something's still gonna come back at me. Like, what did I also do wrong?
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. If they
Yeah,
push,
I'm like,
if they push,
oh,
if they push to the edge,
I think
then
I made the wrong face.
you're gonna walk in and be like, "Achoo!" And it's like, ah,
Yeah,
that was all it took. They're gonna just get you right to the end. It'll be like Mike
It's just
Tyson's
like,
Punch
you
Out.
are.
Like one more hit and you're just down. No A and B is gonna get you back up. You're done. You're in trouble. We were talking about what
Dude.
if though.
Oh yeah, what if? Oh man. Final thoughts. I I I remember watching it like every day because it was on kind of like during Christmas,
Yeah, it was like
sort
once a
of,
day. It was
right?
released.
Like
Yeah, or something.
like right around it or something. So we like would watch it, like me and Hannah, and halfway through every episode, I'm like, what are they doing? Because I'm watching that Creature Commandos on HBO, and it's so much, it's so way better. Like,
Yeah.
I've watched episodes more than once, like endings of episodes where I'm like, wait, what all happened there? With this, I'm like, God, I don't give a crap. I don't
No, it's
care
like,
what they're doing.
and they had a lot of moments where nothing happened. Like it didn't make any sense. Like where the main character was losing. The main character was like about to die or something, and then all of a sudden they just tried a little harder. Like they didn't like think of a strategy. They didn't come up with a plan. They didn't do anything different. All they did was like believe more. And then the villain's like, whoa, wait, what are you doing? Oh my god. You've like, how is this happening? And they're just like, I believe. Like they Care Bear stared them in every episode,
Do-
and it was just painful.
It was just that. It was just glowing beams and glowing eyes and like nothing. It was like so and so kills the world. Like they almost didn't they like fix the Eternals movie? You know, like they did something,
Well, they
and
went.
I was like, oh
It
well,
was like
that was neat.
Agatha or something. Like it was like
Yeah, yeah,
Agatha
yeah, yeah.
and the I forget
Agatha and the judge, the Celestial. What the hell's
yeah.
his name? Arashim. They were like fighting in space, and I think at that point I was also like,
What are we doing?
this is dumb.
Well, it was
This is
also like
dumb.
it was like C carders, right? Like you're watching like the C card fight. It's like Agatha
I
and
like
an Eternal. It's like okay, like well, but but like that's the place where you could actually do whatever you want. Like you're not messing with a
yeah,
Captain America. You're not messing with like a Tony Stark. Like
yeah,
you don't have to like hurt the fans. Like you could just have
right,
fun with these third parties and go nuts,
right,
like and make it different.
yeah,
But it was like
yeah.
it was
It
just
was
more.
like the I think the first two episodes were good with like David Harbour and you know the Red Guardian and Bucky. It was like if those two were together
Yeah,
instead of Cap and Bucky, and oh my god, it
it
was
was kind of
so
funny.
funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
It was
Yeah.
funny.
I wish the artwork
It,
was a little bit different because it was hard to tell them apart
it was real
sometimes.
dark. It was
Yeah,
very dark. I
yeah,
was like, are they just, all right,
yeah,
make it darker. Okay, you can't notice it now. You can't notice all the errors. But it was funny enough. I was like, oh, this is good.
mm,
He's so good. He's oh dude, in Creature Commandos Clayface, they make him so scary. He
oh,
like
really?
snaps his yeah, dude, he's yeah. And then he changes and now he's pretending to be somebody else. Like he's way evil compared to the one in Harley Quinn.
Mm. Oh yeah. What's the Creature Commandos? I didn't hear about it.
That's James Gunn's first thing. Like that's the
Oh,
new. It's like, oh, dude, the last episode was Dr. Phosphorus,
mm,
who's like an amazing character,
yeah,
and every episode, and Gunn even said this in an interview. Every episode is like Lost. They take one of the Creature Commandos that's basically like Suicide Squad, but they're weirder, and lesser known.
Mhm.
And they do like a flashback on what they were doing before they joined this group. And Dr. Phosphorus, he's like just become Dr. Phosphorus, and they're doing the flashback, and he goes to this circus and he starts like killing the animals, and he's like going crazy, and then all of a sudden the lights go out. And he's like, what the hell? And they flash lightning and Batman standing in the window, and then it just cuts, and that story ends. That's like all you see is just that little glimpse of Batman.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
like the next day, everyone's like, is that the Batman that we're going to see in the movies? And it's like, James Gunn's like, I guess. It was a cartoon though. But yeah. And he's like, I can't wait for you guys to see what we're going to do. He's the most popular superhero in the world.
Yeah. Oh man, that's fun.
I was like, he is. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And every episode, and it's like Rick Flag's dad is like the main guy, human.
Okay.
But it's Amanda Waller from like the previous movies.
Yeah.
The woman, what's her name? I always forget her name. She's a great actress.
The same one from those Suicide Squad movies.
All the movies.
Okay.
Yeah, like the Suicide Squad. Even in the end of Black Adam with the Superman scene.
Yeah,
she's her, and she's voicing it, and it's that same character, and it's after Peacemaker. So like his son just got killed, so now he's like stepping in.
Gotcha.
And going after something that like keeps slowly hinting at the Superman movie. Like there's these weird robots that are in the Superman trailer and that are in this Creature Commandos, these robot cops kind of things.
Well, Superman used to have robots at the Fortress of Solitude.
Like, is that what he's like crying and holding?
I think so. I think he had like an army of robots that would take care of things for him. Because he had like stuff from Krypton there, like a library of information, and he had different creatures that weren't supposed to be like in Earth, so he kind of had like a zoo inside the Fortress of Solitude and stuff, and then he had like these robots taking care of things when he wasn't there. And they were kind of like sort of like bodyguards. Like when he got killed by Doomsday, then the robots like took over, and actually one of the robots was pretending to be him. Like in all like the Supermen that were like out there pretending, like one of them was one of his robots, I believe, unless I'm misremembering. But like he had to heal, so like he was in there and like his robots were like taking care of him. And then I think one of them like flew to like Lois and like brought her there to be like he's alive still. And Batman's like, I know. Batman's like, I already know. I scanned his grave and he wasn't in it. Like Batman already.
I knew you were going to tell me that also.
Yeah, the kids have been really interested recently. It's been fun because they found I have this like really large print Alex Ross Justice League comic. It's like 2 feet by or it's like 2 feet by 3 feet. It's like a really big book.
Wow.
And they were looking through it, and they were like asking me a million questions. I think maybe the storyline might be a bit too much, but I just kind of like let them. Like one lady tries to like commit suicide, and like Superman catches her. She's like, "Who's this lady?" I'm like, "That's just somebody. She was going for a swim."
It's funny. Like my intro to superheroes wasn't a story, or it was just the toys. It was just all the toys, and it was just like, oh, I guess these are all together. And the Superman movie was like the only thing.
Well, there wasn't. I think there was like the Super Friends show that I think, but I don't think I watched that all the time.
And the Batman show
later. Yeah. I don't remember watching like Adam West Batman or anything like that because there weren't really like replays yet.
Oh, I watched it all the time, dude.
But later
on a TV that I had to get up and no, I was like four, really? Man, like as young as I can go back on a TV that I had to get up and move a knob to the right to increase the volume. It didn't have a remote.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it was. But it was like I was obsessed with that show. I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Oh man. I
Because
guess
it
I
was like
remember it too. But
so silly, but as a kid, I didn't think it was that silly. I was just like, well, they're doing their best. Their special effects kind of suck.
I tried playing it for the kids, and they were like, this is too much, and I was like, really, this is too much, and they're like, yeah, this is they kept getting like too scared about like what was going to happen to Batman because there was like the cliffhangers, like they were like, Batman's tied up, what's going to
Oh
happen to
yeah,
him, and they're
right.
like, whoa, like they're
Oh
like the
yeah, it
episode's
is
going to end.
dramatic.
They're like, the episode's going to end. I'm like,
Same bad time,
yeah,
same bad channel. Like that's where that's from. And people
Yeah.
still copy that today.
So that's why I've been watching the animated series with them. So we watched Leo and I watched Robin's Reckoning the other day, and that was big.
Robin's Reckoning.
Even after that episode, like Leo turned to me and he's like, that was intense, because it was like Robin's parents like murder, and then like Robin like turned against Batman at the end, and and like Alfred was trying to like stop him, and he's like, I'm not going to listen to him, maybe not ever again. He like takes off like to go find Tony Zuko and stuff, and it's like, and like Batman, the drawing, I don't know if like maybe they had more of a budget for certain episodes, but that episode they had, the drawing in that, the art in it is like awesome.
The Boy Wonder.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
It's like my favorite one.
That one's awesome.
They're like on a rooftop.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah. It's so hard to resist.
So
those.
rad. Oh my God, dude. I had to like just stop. I was like, you have children. You have children. No more toys. These things are amazing now. They're so perfect. You know?
They do so well.
They just stand there. They all look good. Like every single one they make looks good. You know, enough to pass as whatever they're trying to make it look like.
And they're so niche. Like they'll take like the one little scene in the one little show, and you're like, I thought that was like the Taco Hulk. Like they have like the Taco like Hulk.
That's stand him right back there.
It's so hard.
And then I have Thor with the beer belly and the pizza, and Korg holding the remote control, the PlayStation. It's like all that little scene when they go to recruit Thor.
And that's it. It's
in
like,
one shot.
They're like, we got it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's great.
I
remember Grogu? It was like almost every shot.
Yeah.
He had a.
And the amount all the Lokis were coming out too. Oops, excuse me. But the
the Lokis. Oh my God. I wonder how many Lokis there are.
There were so many Lokis. There's a website called bigbadtoystore.com, and it is a dangerous site to go to if you ever go to it. It's it's only full of like every tiny bit of nostalgia, and it ranges from like there'll be like a $400 like statue of Batman, maybe even more. It probably goes up to like thousands of dollars or something like that.
Those statues.
But then it goes down to like all these awesome toys, and oh my God, it's so hard. It's so hard not to want everything on that site. It's like, it's really fun to look at, but just don't buy anything. I mean, you'll get good stuff because I've used it before.
Yeah, right. It's like fun to look at. If I stumble upon something really amazing, I'll be like, I'll send it to my sister-in-law. I'll be like, next holiday or birthday that you feel like you have to give me a present.
Yeah.
Just remember this.
But they have the big categories. They're like, here's a Transformers category. Like, here's, G.I. Joe. This is Thundercats. Here's Ninja Turtles. Like, they have big buttons on it. Like, here, Marvel. Like, boom. Like, Superman. Boom. Oh, you want Christopher Reeve stuff? Boom, 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 boom. Like, it's like it's so dangerous. Yeah. I'm telling you, dude. It's like, and it'll be like everything. It'll,
boom, 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 boom. I should have been like boom, 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 booms, boom,
boom. Oh my God.
I don't know if you saw the news after this Monday Night Raw that I mentioned, where The Rock just like broke all these stories.
Yeah, you told me that
they were doing. Yeah. Hulk Hogan.
No.
What's happening? You didn't stumble upon that?
I've been in a soundproof booth
in the cave. Dude, Hogan comes out. They're at the Intuit Center in Los Angeles, California. And Hogan comes out to like hawk his new Real American beer. And they boo the shit out of him.
Ugh.
They chant audibly during his speech, F Hulk Hogan, over and over and over.
Was it like
It
Trump
was
related or something?
weird. I think it was half, maybe a little Trump, but mostly the N-word usage that he's
Oh.
been caught using in a
Well.
negative way about
Whoops.
his daughter's dating habits.
Whoopsies.
Yes. Oopsie.
Oopsies.
I saw this one like video or thumbnail or whatever, and it was like Hulk Hard R Hogan gets booed because he was saying the N-word
That's a good
with a
one.
hard R.
He's done so many wrong things, like in across time,
Dude.
and people have forgiven him for so much. You know,
I know. I feel like
he's going to go on Michael
Although
Richards' podcast.
although the wrestling crowd very forgiving of the wrestlers, this crowd doesn't care about Hulk because they didn't even watch him.
Right.
And they don't care about his dumb leg drop. And dude, he can barely walk. Like he comes out there and he tries to like do his Hulk Hogan stance and he's like hunched over, like trying to do it. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's too much.
We don't want to see you.
Yeah.
He rips the shirt off and it's like Netflix is Raw. It's like, boo more. I'm booing more now.
That's just a bad idea. I'm not going to blame him for that one, but that's bad PR.
I know. I was like talking to DeWitt about it because he's like, I'm actually happy he got booed. I'm like, I totally expected them to get booed being in California. It's like Triple H forgot where they were.
Well, they should.
They should have expected that.
They should be like making fun of Netflix too. Like they shouldn't be trying to pull Netflix like into it. They should be mocking Netflix like through it, like like oh, we're part of this big conglomerate. Like, well, F Netflix or something. Like they should be like,
right, like
anti like
Netflix
like
is on the
DX.
map.
Yeah, right.
Like we're making Netflix. We're gonna boost their
right.
whatever audience.
Nobody. Yeah. We're gonna take it to the next level, like, but screw them, like they can't control us, and then they need like some corporate Netflix guy that they beat up, like that's what I would do.
And then
The
Hogan. Rock backstage is having like his tequila with Cody, with the guy that he like had this feud with, and now they're just like buddies, and they're drinking, and then he gets in his car and drives away. Everyone's like, what is so the Rock's drinking and driving? Like, what in the world are we doing? And then
why are they even drinking? Just because they're on Netflix? Like they can drink and like promote beer and stuff now because it's on Netflix?
I guess.
Yeah.
But like it's like, no, guys, but you don't drink and drive in the commercial.
Yeah, right.
You don't show yourself doing that.
Right.
And then a rapper like introduces some other guy, and like before he starts rapping, dude, he just holds up a huge doob, takes a huge rip, and blows it right towards the camera, and then starts rapping.
It reminds me of like the Titans show on HBO when that came out, and they were like, all right, guys, we're gonna make like a DC show and we can curse now. And so they're like, oh, so I can, say shit. And they're like, yep, yeah, you can say it. No problem. Like you can say it like as much as you want. And they're like, oh, okay. So then they wrote the dialogue for the show and they're like, hey, Dick, get me that stupid shit thing over there with the shit thing on it. And they just kept cursing through the whole episode, and but there was no purpose to the cursing. So it just seems like as soon as you alleviate the rule, all of a sudden they're like, oh, so we can like use drugs and, drink on this. And it's like, yeah, you can, but you don't have to. But you can, like, if you want to tie it into the story, like, great, no, don't worry about it, we got it. And it's like, no, guys, you don't have to. So then, everybody individually wrote their individual scenes, and they're like, so I'm drinking in this scene, They're like, "What? Why? Why are you drinking?" They're like, "Oh, because we're on Netflix." Like there's like no reason for the story. They just tie
Yes,
it in.
yes. He's like, and then I'll drive away. But before I leave, I'll stop and I'll say that I'm going to be on the show next night, tomorrow night, because he was. And it's like, yeah, but you got into the car after you were drinking. The internet's going to bring that up.
Yeah.
No, they're not. This is wrestling. No. Yeah, but you're on Netflix. The world can watch.
And he probably only drove like in the parking lot like 6 feet, and then the camera cut out, and it's like he got back out. It's like Vince in the limo.
Right.
Explosion.
Oh, yeah, Vince in the where it exploded. Dude, I watched that a couple times. I'm like, man, they cut that quick. They cut that well. It looked real.
It did. It did. It fooled us all. So should we get to like advice? We haven't given advice in a millennia.
No, I didn't know if you had any prep.
I did. I
You
did.
did say that you got
I got out early.
finished chorus line early.
Chorus line was all
Band.
I was up against the wall in chorus because there was nobody else in my section except for me. So I had nobody's voice I could hide in.
Oh no.
And I'm not much of a singer. So it was like, they're like, all right, like, well, we have our bass section. I'm like, crap, like it's only me. And it's all new music. So it wasn't like anything I that we went through already. And it was all Latin. I'm like, I can't, like, you're hitting me with a triple whammy right now. Like I can't. I'm trying to like read it, and I'm like, Cito motos. Just can't. It was a rough one tonight. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I kept laughing, and then they'd be like, all right, like let's sing, and I'd be like, no, I just kind of want to keep laughing. Like I don't really want to actually.
What
commit.
song in Latin?
It's just about like I don't know. It was a Latin title of a Latin song. Just Latin. It's a lot. It was a lot tonight. It took a lot out of me. All right, let's see. I think these are all. I think these are all right. If we did any of these, just tell me.
Yeah.
No. Disinvited. Where do I have that one? Disinvited.
Ooh, disinvited.
I don't think I made a banner for it. Let me make it real quick.
So we're gonna have to make a call on if the disinvitation, the invitation was warranted or not. Like, who's overreacting?
Yeah,
that's the question.
Here it is. There it is. This week at school, my daughter, 12, found out her close friend since 5, had a birthday party over Xmas break and didn't invite my daughter. She was mortified, embarrassed, hurt, and everything in between. I have been friends with the mom since the girls were in preschool. Phone calls, parties, we ran Girl Scouts together. She cried on my shoulder, etc. Since the mother and I are friends, I sent her a text saying we were sad we weren't there to celebrate her daughter, but we hope she had a great birthday. She came up with half a dozen lame excuses, to which I retorted, although my daughter is hurt, it's her daughter's birthday and is entitled to invite whoever, isn't that whomever? Whoever she likes. And we understand my daughter just wanted to know if she did something to cause this. In hindsight, I suppose, along with being hurt, I was genuinely confused. And I just wanted her to know we found out about the party. Maybe petty. This is a crappy part of life, and we used it as a teaching moment for our kid. Come to find out the next day, she was talking to a mutual friend who is closer to me. Wait, what? Come to find out the next day, she was talking to a mutual friend who is closer to me and told her she was extremely taken back. I reached out to her, and I was being basically classless and tacky. Basically being basic.
Being.
Being basically being.
Bing bang.
It's a being sandwich. Classless and tacky. If we were friends, why wouldn't that be a conversation? In my opinion, if she was a decent person, Jesus Christ, lady, if she was a decent person, she would have reached out beforehand to let me know
Would
of
have.
non-invitation so I could have talked to my daughter about it so it wouldn't be such a low blow. But since she made the comment, I regret saying anything. Did I do the wrong thing by texting her about it? What would you have done?
Oh.
First of all, you said there was too many she's in there, and I lost track at the come to find out the next day she was talking to a mutual friend. I guess that the mom was talking to a mutual friend who was
Yeah.
closer to you, and so that friend told her that the mom said it was extremely taken aback and reached out to
I reached
her.
out to her being the mom who was extremely taken aback. Pronouns, pal. Damn it, pal.
And I was being so basically the feedback was that the mom said that she was being classless and tacky. That the poster was being classless and tacky. Okay. Is that the friend saying it or the mom? No.
She was mortified, embarrassed, hurt, and everything in between. Girls were in preschool. Phone calls, parties. We ran Girl Scouts together. She cried on my
NBD.
shoulder, etc.
etc. That seems like a big leap. I think I get the point that she's trying to make. It's like we've had phone calls. Well, okay. Parties. Again, like you can go to parties with strangers when you've got kids. We ran Girl Scouts together. Yes, everybody's run something together if you've got kids. She cried on my shoulder. Whoa, like what happened to her? Somebody die or like
I know, I hate that. She cried on my shoulder. Like, all right, maybe.
therefore I go to all parties she hosts from now into eternity.
Like,
It's the
if girls were in preschool. Phone calls. Phone calls.
phone calls. see how deep this goes. How deep
Like,
this
you mean
cut
like
goes.
we were friends?
Like I interacted. We saw each other at the grocery store. I don't know how else to explain this. One time we ended up in the same yoga class. Like we are sisters. Like this is insane. We are tied at the hip.
Cycles.
I would have liked
Cycles synced.
we're in the same cycle.
Synced.
We have the same gynecologist. I think
Menopause also.
menopause. It's like I would have liked to know more about the party too, because if it was like a party in the park, normally not for a 12-year-old, but like if it was an expensive like parties can be super insanely expensive. Like even like a Chuck E. Cheese party starts at like $350, and you're limited to like 11 kids or something like that, and everyone gets like 2 slices of pizza. These parties can be like insanely expensive, and you have limits on who you can invite, so people can get cut out. So knowing more about the party that you weren't invited to is kind of
Dude, for some reason, it was like, if I'm not invited to a thing, then I'm like, okay, then you didn't want me there. Message received.
yeah.
Like, I could take a hint, and I don't need to know why. You don't need to tell me why.
Well, for the kid to not be invited, you might want to know you might want to know why.
No, yeah, I
Like,
think the question she asked was valid. Like, yo, did anything
the,
go? Is
the post is way too much
anything go
about
wrong, or
her.
are they just drifting? I know, God, it is. She's putting herself over, and she's like not really explaining what happened, but like she asked the correct question politely, like, "Hey, did we do anything wrong?" No, my daughter can invite whoever she wants to her own party. It's like, that's not what I asked you, psychopath. Right? Is that kind of the story? Is that the tale?
Well, she didn't say.
The
She didn't
web that
say
she
what it
just
was.
weaved?
She didn't say. She said she just said a bunch of excuses. She came up with a half dozen lame excuses, right?
Yeah. To which
I
I
mean,
retorted.
like the text that she sent is very passive aggressive, right? I sent her a text saying we were sad we weren't there to celebrate her daughter, but we hope she had. Why don't you just say like hope you had a good birthday? Like you don't have to say like we're sad we weren't there.
Dude,
To which,
she
to
like
which I retorted.
she doesn't, yeah, like she doesn't finish the story. Like she's like, to which I retorted, although my daughter it's her daughter's birthday and is entitled to invite whoever she
Yeah,
likes.
but that's what she
We
said.
understand.
That's
My
like what
daughter
the
just wanted to
post
know if she did something to cause this. And then she doesn't say, well, yes, she did this. She just goes, in hindsight, I should have done. It's like, no, get back to what she said after you said, did she do something to cause this? You terrible storyteller.
Yeah.
That's what you're guilty of. You asked the right question.
I think it's a fair question to ask, you know, but
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't think it should be like an abrasive question.
Right.
Like here's the thing, like you can have a strong connection and like even with, you know, Ruby's friends and stuff, like I remember doing it too. Like when I was a kid, it's like you were friends and then you hated each other's guts and then you got bored and you wanted to play again. So then you called each other up and you were like, hey, can we, you want to come outside and play basketball, you know? And it's like, but the last time you talked, you were like, I hate you. Like, I'm never going to talk to you again. I can't believe you said those things. Like I
Yeah.
used to fight with kids in the neighborhood, like all the time like that. And then it would just be like, hey, like, do you want to come out and play?
And me and
Like, yeah.
Smith used to be like that.
Yeah.
Like ever since second grade, it was like most times done hanging out, it was like sports, and he did something or I did something that we
right.
didn't like, that cheated, or because we were both dirty players, so
Yeah.
someone was always cheating,
It was a foul.
fighting, and our
Yeah.
parents are like, it's time to go, but we're also like not leaving. We're like staying and arguing, but not leaving.
Right. Right. So, I mean, to me, it seems sort of natural. Like maybe it was just a day where they weren't getting along. So she's like, I'm not bringing her to the party. But for the mom to be like, what did we do? It's like, nothing. You didn't do
Oh,
anything.
God.
They're just not getting along. And we didn't invite her. Or we only invited
And
a
it's
few
also, they
people.
are 12. Like 12, it's like, dude, they'll work it out or they won't. Like, you don't need to like do this now. It's not
Yeah.
like they're little kids.
I don't feel like it's even between the parents at that point. I feel like at 12, it's
That's
more
what I'm
like
saying.
you go tell your friends who you want to come and tell them that, like, we're not even going through the parents anymore. Like, just go tell the kids to come.
Right. Exactly. Invite who you want.
Like parents also get this thing stuck in their head where it's like, all right, like we have to invite the entire class or we have to invite like all the friends. Like, and that's fine, like early on, especially when the kids don't really even form friendships. They're just like playing, you know, in like pre-K and like
They're
kindergarten
just
and
doing it
stuff.
to
It's like
get them around other humans their
they don't even
age.
know who they want, right? Like they're like, invite my teacher. And you're like, what? Okay.
Right.
You know, and it's fine, you know, like we bring the teacher, but it's but like later on it becomes about, you know, it becomes way more social where it's like, all right, I want this, like they're very determined on who they want at a party,
Yeah.
right?
They
So
decide who's worthy.
I don't know, I feel like she's overreacting. I feel like it's way like maybe you're in the right, and maybe it's definitely something you should talk to your daughter about, because life's going to keep hitting you, and it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you get hit and you keep moving forward, right? Like you got to
Life is gonna knock you down to your knees, and it will keep you there.
keep you there, right? This is
That's
one of
the
those
best
moments.
part.
So I think the teaching moment is the teaching moment's good, but
And maybe like in person, if it's within the next month, you run into her, you can possibly be like, are they like just not hanging? Are they not buddies anymore?
right.
But not like on text, like a Yenta after 2 glasses of grapes.
Yes, it's too soon too, and to be passive aggressive on the girl's birthday is really sorry we weren't there. I don't know. I guess we lost our invitation in email. Like you must have mistyped. Like don't just freaking just say,
Dude,
hey, happy birthday. Like
sending that mixed message, passive aggressive text, but like not like so obviously mixed. Like it's just like, I know what you're doing.
right.
You're just
I
like
want you to know what I'm doing.
You're like inviting at least like a 2-hour text war.
Right.
Like, why would you even start that
Right.
unless you just wanted it? Drama.
I would love to just be the person on the other side and not give excuses and just be like, she doesn't like her. Deleted.
I
Lose my number.
I'm looking forward to being like, they're just not friends anymore.
Or they're not
Sorry.
not friends this week. Like, grow up. I feel like a lot of times you have to tell the parents to grow up, which is insane. Like the parents
Get
are
out
like,
of the way.
how are we not friends anymore? It's like, how are we not friends anymore? We have a connection through our children. Like we are not friends.
Yeah.
Like we are friendly.
Right.
Like I am civil with you and
We're
we'll laugh
civil,
and have
right.
fun, but like we're surviving.
And we can
What we're doing is
stumble into things that we have in common, but
Yeah.
we don't hang out other than with our daughters. Gross. Disgusting.
All right, let's see. Where's my wheel? I gotta get that down. Get out of there, disinvited.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ah, what are the chances?
Oh,
I gotta take that
repeat.
out.
Oh.
Did we do that? That was an older one.
Bad mouthing dad.
Did we do bad mouthing dad? I feel like we did.
Oh yeah, I know. It does sound familiar. Like the mom. So I don't even really know to start.
Yeah. Oh, the dad was bad mouthing the wife. We did this one. Like 2 episodes ago. "3 days ago, he phones me, and although I don't, which I keep to myself, something in his voice just made me believe him. So I asked her, and almost straight away, she admitted that she says these things about me quite nonchalantly. Yeah, I was more. We did this.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. This
Sorry.
one was like, come on.
Let's clean sweep here. Bad mouthing.
It's a tough one.
It was a sad one.
Yeah.
I think we did best parenting advice. I think we did that one too, and then we just did disinvited. Get out of there.
What's fathers?
Should we just do that one? Go back to just choosing.
Oh, no.
Non-parent parenting advice.
Oh, but sounds familiar.
Yeah, that sounds familiar too. Let's just do fathers.
All right, fathers.
Just mixing it up.
Mother.
Just going against fate.
We make our own fate, Jack.
Do you want to read this one? We make our own fate check.
I am a mom of 4, married, but curious if any of you think the same as my husband. A few months ago, my 3-year-old confided in me and told me that her big brother, my stepson, a 13-year-old, touched her. For some context, this is the same brother who my 4-year-old told me touched her. She was around 2.5, 3 at the time she told me. Pronouns, pal.
I don't think I want to do
When
this
this,
one. I don't like.
when this, I know, I'm like, this
I don't want. I didn't
is
know what this was supposed to be.
like a 3-year-old confided in you. Like,
I don't want to do
I'm
this
already with an eyebrow raised. A 3-year-old, come on.
Well, I just don't want. That just. Bleh,
It's
hurts my
too
stomach.
dark.
I don't like it. I thought it was going to be like funny. Like,
Fathers.
let's do wife hanging out with Jim Bro. I don't think we did that one.
Oh no.
Here, read this one, and I'll switch it over to
My 40-something wife is meeting up with some muscle-bound, attractive guy at the gym on Fridays during the day, which is her day off. This while I'm at work all day. She is getting free pickleball lessons / practice from this guy, which I know, as they text to arrange.
It's an amazing innuendo. Free pickleball lessons.
/ practice / blowjobs from this guy, which I know, as they text to arrange. There are no other texts other than related to meeting at the gym. I check unknowingly. I check unknowingly?
I check unknowingly. I don't know.
What
I
is-
mean,
well-
like
Like he checks by accident?
I check unknowingly. There are no other texts other than related to meeting at the gym. I check unknowingly. It's like he wasn't looking for them. Maybe is that what he? I don't know. Just finish it out, and then
Okay,
we'll.
I was like, I'm not.
He doesn't know how to adverb. Yeah.
Yeah, right. She tells me about it, and I just say okay. However, I am not okay with it. This feels like my 40-something wife. Ooh. This feels like a date since it's one-on-one. I'm going to approach her about it, but I need to know if a line has been crossed or am I overreacting? I'm married 20 years and we have our ups and downs. She seems to wear tight yoga shorts and more makeup than normal when she gets ready to head to the gym to meet him, but I might just be paranoid. Is a line being crossed?
So she's getting free pickleball lessons and practice from this guy, which I know, as they text to arrange. There are no.
Dude, she's putting on makeup.
I mean, well, even I'm sure some women wear makeup to the gym, even though that doesn't make sense to me, but I'm sure some do. I don't understand texting directly with a instructor at the gym. That does not make sense to me. Like, there are apps for that. There are classes for it. Especially if they're free, that doesn't seem like a good spending of the gym's time. I would ask the gym. I would call the gym and be like, do you guys hand out like lots of free pickleball classes? Can I?
There are girls.
Why don't you just go to the lessons? Just go to the
There are
lessons.
girls
That
put on makeup when they go to the gym because they want guys to see them. So, I mean, dude, you would get a female trainer. Like, why do you have a male trainer? You're married. Like, get a female trainer. You're a woman. Like,
well, I mean, like, you could have a male, like, there's male instructors for everything. It's, I mean, I could see not being able to avoid it, but I would just go
once
to
a
it.
week.
Just go to it.
It's
Be
like,
like, hey,
okay,
I want
it's
to learn
only-
pickleball.
It's only once a week, though. Like, is he follow? You got to follow her car and see if they go anywhere else other than the gym.
Like cheaters. Like, you have to like actually follow it. And it's like, detectives followed up with her at the gym. Here she is walking in. And then you pull up like the face, like a very pixelated face. It's like, subject identified or unidentified subject. Walks her in and then takes her out. And they're 5 minutes later, they're walking out of the gym and walking into a Denny's. It's like, oh shit.
dude, there's some crazy cheaters, like amateur, TikTok versions online that I'm like sons catching dads with their girlfriends. Like, it's crazy. I'm like, man, I'm so glad I had such a boring existence.
How
Not
much
boring, but just simple.
do you like? I've been wondering, like, because there's all these like pranks and videos and things like that. I keep wondering, like, I feel like there's too much of a genre. Like there's way too many like cheater videos of things like that, and I'm like, wait, how could there be enough that there's like a playlist of this, like that somebody was able to accumulate it all, and I just keep thinking, I'm like, I wonder if it's scripted. Like, I wonder if
Dude,
these
so many of them are fake.
like they have to
Like,
be, right?
so many are fake, and you can just tell almost like the minute anyone starts talking, you're like,
Yeah.
oh god, someone's
Yeah.
reading. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
What are
normal.
you doing
But like,
here?
there are some real ones where you can like tell it's real because the lighting sucks. Like, you can't hear everything they say.
Do a lot of
But
people
then
have
some do
like
them that way.
security cameras in their house? Because like a lot of people are like, can't believe we caught this on camera. I'm like, why were you
Yeah,
taping yourself watching TV? Like, why?
a lot. I think a lot of people have them on the outside, and more are
Outside,
getting
I
them on the inside.
outside I get. Inside, I do not understand, especially with like the security flaws of those things. Like, somebody's just watching you
It's
all
like,
day long.
I know. It's like if you're robbed once, maybe you probably get them
Yeah.
robbed bad. But
Oh
most
man,
houses have them. I don't have cameras, but we have like security.
I
Like
have cameras
alarms go
pointing
off.
out. I'm fine with cameras pointing out. Makes
Yeah,
perfect
we have
sense.
those too.
Cameras
Yeah.
inside, like watching you all day, that bothers me. I
Right.
like
It's
I
like,
like my
and
cameras on the
unless I'm
inside
expecting
in my pocket all day long,
unless I'm
right here.
expecting an earthquake and I want to catch myself on camera during the earthquake, I don't need cameras inside. They're the ones that I'm like, oh, I'm glad they had a camera so I can see the house shaking.
I mean, it will be great for that moment where you like drop a spoon off the counter and like quickly catch it and feel like Spider-Man, and now you've missed it, But except for that one moment, that's about it.
Right.
Yes. So in conclusion, she's cheating on you. Shut it down.
Well, once a week isn't that?
Why are you?
It
Why are
would
you?
be.
Why are you so focused on the once
I
a
think it
week?
would be more. I think it would be more if it's if it's an affair.
Like
Once a week's
like
nothing.
it would escalate. Like, it would start once a week, and then there would be they'd
Yeah.
get sloppy. They'd get sloppy.
Yes.
They'd start going twice a week, and then he would show up to the house as a cable man or something like that, and they'd be like, wait, what? Isn't this your pickleball instructor? Why are you not getting any
I've been,
better at pickleball?
I've been listening to this one YouTube channel all week. It's called We're All Insane, and it's so like against anything that I would click on.
Yeah.
But like maybe it auto played or something. Somehow an episode started. And I mean, dude, they don't have an intro. It just goes. It just goes right in to these pretty deep, dark stories.
Uh-oh.
And a lot of them involve some sort of betrayal of love. And that's why I'm thinking. I'm like, once a week, from what I've heard all week, it just keeps increasing. No one's that like disciplined.
It's like when I explain somebody like the legal system because I've watched all 24 seasons of Cops. I'm like, that's not
Right.
what happens. I think I've seen enough Cops to know exactly how this works.
Yeah, it's like this schedule is not an affair schedule. It's just a workout schedule. It's just once a week.
I mean,
it's very disciplined. It's very organized, structured.
I would
They
take
get
her out for
sloppy with
pickleball.
love.
Just go play pickleball with her.
Right.
If she's terrible at it, she's cheating on you. If she destroys you, then everything's fine. Then they're actually there doing the pickleball.
That's funny. Play her in pickleball and see if she's any good. Like, at least knows the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Because then
she picks up a tennis ball.
we're
You're
in
like,
trouble.
uh-oh. She's like,
right. Or if she misses every time, it's like, uh-oh.
the whole time
You
you're
haven't
like, uh-oh.
been Why do
So
you suck?
funny.
You've been practicing for a year.
It would also be good to like describe some
He's a
more of
shitty coach.
more of your own relationships. Because it's like I don't know. I feel like I could understand like a boyfriend girlfriend not knowing somebody's cheating, but like, well, I guess you've been watching it all week, right? What is like the other person doing? Like, what is like the victim doing to like know? Like, are they part of it in these dark stories, or is it
What do you mean? Are they part of it?
like are they suspecting something, or are they doing an investigation
Oh,
themselves,
dude.
or like what's triggering them to think that something? I mean, this guy's pretty obvious. It's like
Sometimes
she is
they're
texting a
not.
man and going and meeting a man, like, and they disappear for an hour, and she wears makeup. It's pretty easy.
Like, like this kid's like, after work, I'm hanging out with my friends, going to the bar. This new job I got. And then like weird text messages would come, and it's like, who's this girl? And it's like, oh, it's just a work thing. It's a work joke.
Oh yeah,
And he just like keeps hanging out with them after work, like more and more, and like getting
right,
home at like 2 a.m. And it's like, are you just hanging out with friends? Like, what dad does that?
right, yeah.
But then this other one, dude, this girl, she had no clue. She was like, she got like injured really bad. She was track, she broke a bone in her leg. So she was all, and like her boyfriend was like coming over and like taking care of her, and would like go in the kitchen, and the mom would come and give him a handy in the kitchen. And then he'd come back and like give her soup while she's on the
Jeez,
couch.
guys.
Yes, dude. It's like crazy stories. Whew. We're all insane.
No, thank you. I fold that up and I'll just pass that.
No,
right
no, I
back.
don't recommend it for you at
I
all.
don't want to
It's
see
not
it.
it's not up your alley at all. It is not.
Oh man.
You would last like 20 seconds because the host is like this chick who just thinks she is way more intelligent than she is. So
Oh.
sometimes, but the great thing about her is she barely speaks. She edits out all her questions and just leaves in the answers. So it's just like an uninterrupted story.
Gotcha.
So that's why I think I keep listening, because
Gotcha.
it is good storytelling. But it's bizarre. It's crazy.
Yeah, it
Campers,
sounds very
grooming, very dark.
campers grooming. Campers.
Grooming, yeah. I
Like-
was groomed by my camp counselor.
Oh, camp counselor.
This crazy weirdo camp counselor. Like, it's like this
It's-
stuff
it's-
that went on in the 80s and 90s. It's like,
Oh, right, yeah.
it's just so far away from happening now. It's crazy.
Well, I had to register for the Boy Scouts, and when you go through all their stuff, it's like you have to go through, like 20 things that are saying like you are not gonna mess around with any kids. It's like, can we just get to the Boy Scout? Like, I just want to learn knots. Like, can we just start
I
learning
just want
knots?
people to
And it's
lead
like,
if it's an apocalypse.
they're like,
I
well,
don't
we
want
can
to
learn
touch
knots, but just
anyone.
don't touch anybody.
Just don't
It's like,
untie
not
anybody's
gonna-
pants.
Just
Don't
do it.
unknot anybody's pants.
Is it really that hard not to? Like, can we just not? Like, I just want to not. I just want to learn knots. Oh my
Louis
god.
C.K. He's like, it must be amazing because they know it's wrong. And they still do it. For them.
For that.
He's like, it's disgusting. It's the most gross thing ever. But for them, it's got to be unreal. Because they know their life is going to be ruined if they do it, and they still do it. It's such an unbelievably funny way to look at it.
Oh my god. They're risking everything. Yeah.
Right. Complete humiliation.
Man. Okay, we could do. Let's see. What's this one? We got. How about one more? We got one more.
Yeah, let's
Wife's
do one.
wife's
Un mas.
wife's best friend. I don't think I made a thing for this, but that's fine. We'll just jump into
Whoa.
it. I feel terrible even writing about this, but I don't know what to do. I've been with my partner for 13 years and married for 2 years. We have a child, a house, everything one could ask for in a relationship. We've had our ups and downs. That's like the fifth time I've read ups and downs tonight. We've had our ups and downs, just like any other relationship, but we've always managed to work them through them together. I always felt like we worked together pretty good. It should be pretty well, but it's all right. I've never really cared much about other girls. I've had quite a few girls hit on me before, but I've never acted upon. I usually just brush them off or just remove myself from the situation entirely. My partner has been completely faithful as well, doing the same whenever someone tries to hit on her. Over the past few months, my wife reconnected with an old friend. They've been hanging out with each other so much that they're best friends now, even planning future trips for the two of them. I'm glad my wife is finally able to hang out with someone other than me. She hasn't had this type of relationship in a long time, and it makes me happy. But over the past few weeks, her friend has been coming over more frequently and even spending the night some weekends. We typically we typically have a good time, whether exchanging stories about us as teenagers or young adults or even watching movies. Her friend has opened up to us about past traumas and confided to us about certain personal things that happened in her life. My wife's friend is beautiful. To say she's not would be a lie. But looks have never been a thing for me. But over the past few weeks, I'm going to just pause on that one. But over the past few weeks, I've started to notice that I guess I have a lot in common, and how strikingly intelligent she really is, and at times including talk to her for hours on end about certain topics. The real kicker was one weekend, her and I stayed up until 5 a.m. just talking about books and music, all the while my wife is asleep in our bed. I didn't really think about any of this until the next day when my wife and I got a little buzzed at a local bar and I was laying on our couch, and that's when it hit me that I might be falling for her. I started to kiss.
Her being my wife's friend, pronouns.
Yeah, pronouns. I fell for my wife right then. I started to get. I started to get. Yeah, I started to grr scared.
So the gar.
I started to gar scared because it felt like something I haven't felt in literal 13 years.
Oh,
My God. Understand that my mind is playing tricks on me. Some will say it's because I was buzzed, but I just think that had brought out emotions I may have been suppressing deep down. I'm not even considering leaving my wife or even cheating, but I at con- but I am considering a therapist. Okay. But I considering a therapist.
But I am considering a therapist.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
You should
Is that it?
you should consult an English major. Yeah, consult an English major as well. And
I've
spelling.
felt in literal 13 years.
There's literally things that like
13 years,
underline
not
these
figurative
things. Like
13 years.
we're in 2025. It's 2025 now, right? There's little things that underline these things. There's no excuse for this. Should have read it through at least once.
Yeah.
I don't know. First of all, you can talk to people. It does not mean you need to start a relationship with them. Staying up till 5 in the
And
morning,
also
talking
find them
to-
attractive.
You can find something like it's not
Like people are pretty, people are ugly. Like that's just going to keep going until we're not even here anymore.
He's like, well, I better go to a therapist. It's like, how about you just have a little bit, like just a teeny tiny bit of self control, just like this
think
much.
of it this way, dude. Like your wife's friend is cool and pretty, so like it's nice to look at her, and you can talk to her. You don't need to scissor her.
You definitely don't. You don't need to do that.
Like God, it's true. The gays are so horny.
Oh my god. The
Just kidding.
guy. The guy.
Girl.
Why this is the thing I always want to understand. Isn't it complicated enough? Don't you already have everything complicated enough? Do you really think upheaving like this long-term relationship that you have with your wife to then like how is this going to work? How is this going to
That we
work out?
just all got legally, okayed for you to even do. You're going to go and screw it up. God, just like the heteros.
How is this? How is this? How is but like okay, so you start you leave your wife and for some reason this other woman that's in the house is now attracted to you. Like which you don't even really know. She might have been bored out of her mind talking to you about like you're like this book is the best book. Like you need to read this. And she's like, "Okay, well, it's getting to 5. Like I need to."
Yeah, she didn't mention that like
sleep.
she was doing cocaine, but the friend wasn't.
She didn't have a way to like mention that he's sleeping on the couch that she sleeps on at night, and it's like, okay, well, I can't go to sleep until you get off the couch.
I think it's 3 women that are in this tale.
Is it
I
3
don't think
women?
there's a he.
No,
I think so because she started off with partner.
Where's it at? Well, everybody uses partner.
She mentioned her vagina. Partner for 13 years, married for 2, house. Okay, ups and downs. Pretty good. I really never cared that much about other girls. I had a few girls hit on me before, but I've never acted upon it. I usually brush them off. Partner completely faithful. Okay, maybe not. Someone tries to hit on her.
It just says someone. It just says someone.
My freaking an old friend. They've been hanging out with someone. Best friends.
Let me see. Let me go to the videotape.
That's even spending the nights.
Let's see. Let's go to the comments.
Looks has never been a thing for me. That's a lesbian thing to say. Just joking. Just joking.
You're hitting all grand slams.
I like this. I noticed we have a lot in common. She's strikingly intelligent. Like, okay. Jeez Louise. What a narce.
There's people assuming it's a man. This also sounds like a.
Maybe it is a guy.
Well, people are accusing him of having an emotional affair.
143.
143.
Understand that my mind is playing tricks on me. Some will say it's because I was buzzed. Come on. Buzzed. Brought out emotions I may have suppressed deep down. Well, yeah, okay. If it's a guy, that's why I said you don't have to scissor. Like, dude, if it's a guy,
that's what made it funnier, though.
Crazy. Like, what are you? Are you crazy? Like, you're gonna ruin a friendship and a marriage? Like, go for it.
Well, like it's also like the ego on you. Like,
enough.
It's like, well, if I do this, like, it's my choice, but I'm gonna choose not to, for the best of everyone else, because like everyone knows that if I tried, then
she'd be there.
It all worked out.
She's strikingly intelligent enough.
And what, like 10 years down the line, you guys are just smiling. She's sitting on your lap, like you're joking about that old time that you were married to her friend. It's like
with your kid, and you ruined it after they were together for 13 years, and you just threw it all away because you were hot at that time, but now you're old. Like, God,
it's so funny.
It's like people are attractive.
It's like he's got like a goldfish's like memory. He's like, all right, well, I'm only thinking about like tomorrow. You know?
Yeah, I mean that is a fault. You know,
he came to a conclusion while buzzed. I like how he
That's like a
apologized for
thing.
that.
It's like these affairs, they don't have a plan. It's just the affair. Like from these stories that I've been listening to, it's like
Yeah.
it's just the affair. That's just the mission. And it's like once they get caught, they're kind of like, they both end up like in jail later.
Oh.
It's sad state.
Hmm.
But don't do it, dude.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It was gotta be such a nightmare.
I feel like he's also like kind of. He reminds me of like when you were like 15 or 16 and you were waiting for like, you're like, what should I do with this relationship? And you start like hitting the scan button on your radio and you're like, let's see what the next song comes up on the radio and tells me like what to do,
Right.
like the fate of the earth is through the 18 songs that are playing like that summer. It's like,
Very, very overthinking.
it said
Like,
Backstreet's back, so I guess like I should take her back. Yeah, I have to go.
I have to act on it.
That song has so many back in it.
And it's like, dude, just note that, oh yeah, there are other cool, attractive people. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Don't think
it
you
can-
need therapy for
It can just be that. Like,
I wish these people gave ASL at the beginning, not just the age and the coordinates.
Yeah, ages.
I wish I knew where they were from.
Yeah. Always want more info and better grammar. It's always tough. Can never get what we want. We try sometimes.
We just went by.
We got what we need. All right, brother. I think I am at that witching hour of
dose.
I mean, we stay up pretty late for these things too. So it's like I always feel like it's like
I know.
we're trying to give the people what they want, but it's also like
when
tired.
We can give it to them. Yeah. Right. You don't want us babbling for the next 40 minutes about who knows what and who cares. All right, brother.
All right.
Don't forget to tell your grandparents. We'll see you next week. Good cool.